This is the part that we really, really want you to hear. We always say to them, every single person is an extension of source energy. And every single person has an inner being who is flowing to them. And every single person has an inner being who is flowing and wanting to call them to their path of least resistance for all that they desire. Every single one of them. And then we say to these teachers, these well-meaning teachers, if this person is asking, and if their inner being is answering, and those things are always true, and they are not hearing, what makes you think they will hear you? It's not your job to be the guidance or counselor for anyone. It is your job to live your life, let life help you to evolve in the things that you desire. And once a desire is formulated within you, to follow that guidance and move toward that. But it is not your responsibility. And no one is, from the non-physical point of view, holding you in some sort of light of wrongdoing about the co-creative process that you are involved in. Those things are all assigned from the spin-off of man's conscious mind as people are coming together in different combinations and wanting to control others. It is such an interesting thing. Most of that control comes through some form of religion because most people are not connected to their own guidance through their religion, but to some rules that have been assigned by someone else. And usually the rules go generally or something like this. If you want to join our club, you will be better off, they will say. They don't call it a club, but if you want to join us, you will be better off. But these are the rules you must keep. You must do these things and you must not do these things. And if you do these things and you don't do those things, then you will be blessed, then you will thrive. And so people follow along with that because they are well-meaning. They want to be good. They want to do good. They want to do what is good. And they want somebody to tell them what it is. Most of you really think that you'd like a long list that you would like to keep until something on it isn't what you want to do. And then you're looking for another list somewhere. That's why there are so many religions. So you do your best to keep those rules. You do what they say to do and you don't do what they say not to do. But then you're not all that blessed. Things are hard for you. And then you look around and you see other people who appear to be being blessed, who you know aren't keeping those rules. So then you say, what's going on here? And they say, oh, one thing we forgot to tell you. You can't tell by the things that you are doing here in this life. You have to wait until you get into the afterlife, and then you will find out how well or not well you have done. Well, what kind of guidance is that? You have an inner being, and so does your girlfriend, and so does everyone. You have inner beings who are loving you always, knowing where you stand always in relationship to the expansion that you are discovering, who are always calling you. And so these experiences that you have described, when we say to you what you are creating is you. So you had an experience and something that you didn't know you wanted, which was friendship and harmony with this little guy that's in your life. So you didn't know the avenue through which it would come, that it would be delightful to you. But as the manifestation occurred, it gave you a new set of experiences from which to launch your next desire. And like everyone, you discover that there are things in your vortex that you don't even know are there. Your inner being knows that they are there. And so you are called and guided toward inspired behavior. And don't think that wasn't, that led to the physical expression of your son. And through that experience, then you're standing in another place where now you have another set of contrasting experiences where you came to other conclusions. But this is the thing that we so want you to hear. Do not assume that once you've decided that you sort of kind of want something, as you did. Maybe I'm willing to have this baby, and maybe I would like this baby to be a girl rather than a boy. In other words, those feel like things that you are defining. All of that is still in the vortex. You see what we're getting at? The fact that it didn't come to fruition through that particular avenue doesn't mean that it is not still in your vortex. And most of all, it does not mean that you are not still blessed. And next of all, it does not mean that anyone else in the scenario isn't either. Are you following? You are evolving in your desires, and that's a good thing. And if you are not allowing yourself, or seemingly allowed by others, turns out they have no control, but they'd like to think they do. If you are not allowed to have an experience of what you don't want, how are you going to know what you do want? You can't know what you want other than through life experience. And when desire is born within you, no matter how it comes, it is a very good thing. And life is always flowing. We promise you, there is no shortage of physical avenues for non-physical consciousness to come forward. The way you make your path undeniable is by feeling for it on an emotional basis more than thinking for it. You are where you are. You can be hopeful or you can be fearful. You can be hopeful or fearful. Now, so when you separate the reality of what is happening from your mood or attitude about it, now you begin to deal with things vibrationally, which is the basis of all things, rather than in terms of action. People will say, where I am is unpleasant, I want to be over there, and then I will feel better. And we say, you have to find a way of feeling better, or you cannot move over there. And people say, well, give me a reason to feel better, and then I'll feel better. And we say, you have to conjure the better feeling. You guide with vibration, and the manifestation follows the vibration. The you that is this eternal, emphatic, important, big vibration. And there's the you that's sitting here in your body having whatever experience you're having. When you merge these two yous, the power of that alignment is such that then you can't miss what you see. If something is a hell yes, then follow it. But if it's not, if it's anything other than I really want to do this, then it's equivalent of saying hell no. If it is limp, if it could go either way, then you haven't done the energy alignment work that is necessary. It's like picking the fruit that isn't ripe and then complaining that it doesn't taste good. And we say, let everything ripen. And the way you let that happen is by working on the thought and getting it into alignment. Let your work be an emotional journey, not a thinking journey. Don't try to think your way to your projects or to your success. Life and the contrast is what's thrown all that over in vibrational escrow. Do you know that every day that you're living and you know what you don't want, you put another piece of what you do want in it? All of these pieces that you're throwing over there into this vibrational escrow are melding together. The source energy you is becoming them, and the picture is beginning to form, and you don't have to figure out or dictate the path through which this stuff will unfold. All you have to do is do your best to chill out, do your best to feel good, do your best to appreciate, do your best to feel as good as you can feel, and what's percolating over there in vibrational escrow will say, hey, look over here. And when you look, you won't say, oh, I'm wondering about this. There is no possible way that you are not creating wonderful things, but there is a possibility of any of you being so tied up in the details of whatever it is that you are living that you're holding yourself vibrationally just out of sync with what is lighting up. Everything has the potential of lighting up and lighting up fast. And what your life is supposed to be is just a series of saying, oh, that's the best idea I can find from here. And oh, that's the best idea I can find from here. And oh, that's the best idea I can find from here. And what begins to happen is you begin deliberately turning in the direction of the thoughts that feel better and better and better, is that the things that light up are bigger and bigger and bigger and more and more and more exhilarating as they light up. Life is supposed to be fun and will be. It was never supposed to be a struggle. So when you say, I can't tell which way decision to make, what that always means is there hasn't been enough reaching for the thought that feels best to come into true alignment with what's already over there in your vibrational escrow. Do you believe us when we say that because of who you were before you were even born, and who you have become as a result of the contrast that you've been living, that there are things ready to pop that would just knock your socks off everywhere on every subject in the world? What you're thinking and feeling and what manifests are always a vibrational match. So if you wait until something happens before you see it, we call that post-manifestational awareness. That's like it has to manifest before you're able to decipher it. But if you are paying attention to the way you feel, you can decipher it before it actually manifests, and that way you don't miss it. So when it's sort of like, it's like climbing to the top of the slippery slide, and all of that is motion forward, all of that is motion forward, all of that is motion forward. In other words, you're efforting to some degree, and then you reach that place where you allow the natural law of gravity to take over, and there is that rush where no more effort is required. The laws of the universe are just going to take over and carry you for a while. That's what that feeling is. And it is ever present. You never reach the place where there is not another potential rush for you. The reason that we were backing away just a little bit ago from the word goal is because you get overly involved in the action part of your life experience. Instead of understanding that through the life that you've been living, you have set forth all of these intentions, and that the source within you has gathered them together, and they are all moving in a powerful way. And as you follow the inspiration and allow yourself to be again and again drawn into the vortex where your vibration raises, then you begin to be able to see. In other words, in the beginning, the vortex is a feeling experience, but the more time you spend in there, the more sensitive to that energy you become, the more aware of it that you become, and then the more you are able to interpret vortex energy in other sensual ways, not just emotion, but visually, auditorily. You can just literally smell your way to success. And so very often have you heard people say that they thought they were going this way, and then something else opened up that was far better than where they thought they were going. And we think it's a wonderful thing to set your sights, but we also think it is a more wonderful thing to understand that the majority of what's going to knock you over in terms of pleasing you is not something that you can visually determine right now, this red hot minute. And that's why faith and trust and believing and knowing are such important emotions to allow yourself to become familiar with. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. No matter how it looks in any moment in time, things are always working out for me. Everything always works out well for me. Tell the moral of the story first, so to speak. Speak in the general terms. In other words, speak in terms of what you've already shown yourself that you adore doing and what you recognize that you are. And then offer general statements that say, and my path is eternally evolving, and it's so fun to watch that happen. And I'm aware and eager and ready, and I can move quickly when the inspiration is strong. And what we're really saying to you is, and this is the only soft guidance that we are giving you, because everything is working out well for you, is don't try to push it and don't try to make it happen. Allow it, because you can make a lot happen. You can make a lot happen, but it's minuscule in comparison with what you allow to happen. You do not have to define precisely the avenue through which your well-being will come, because your well-being will come emphatically through many avenues. The new miracles are more exhilarating. It's easier to flow into those than the old stale ones. After you've had an opportunity to shift vibrationally, what was becomes new, because your vantage point is new and different. So every relationship is changed. Every aspect of your life is changed, because the point of vibrational view from which you are observing it has shifted. So it's a nice way to get a fresh start.